Hello, this is John Wubbenhorst, and I'm talking today about music of India for the flute. I'm offering instruction on people who already play the flute, but they'd like some instruction perhaps on how to approach and integrate the music of India for the flute. In my own personal journey, I grew up playing the Western flute. I was playing some of the Bach flute sonatas, some jazz, even some Jethro Tull. But also, along that time, I started getting very interested in the music of India. I'm like a lot of Americans, I first started to hear some inklings of Indian music through the Beatles. On Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, there was that piece, Within Without You. We were talking about the space. Well, that was George Harrison with some classically trained Indian musicians. There's no Ringo, Paul, or John on that cut. It's just very heavily influenced by classical Indian music. And there were other people like John Coltrane, John McLaughlin, the group Oregon, especially Colin Walcott had learned sitar and tabla. There's some Western classical musicians like Julian Bream, who had interacted with Ali Akbar Khan in the 60s. Philip Glass spent time with Ravi Shankar. The great American composer Alan Havananes had Fulbright fellowship to India in the 50s, and he integrated a lot of aspects of Indian music with his music and his compositions. And so it also grew in me that finally, in 1992, I'd traveled to India to study Indian music, and through a wonderful set of events, I met the great Hari Prasad Chaurasia, one of the great masters of the bansuri. The bansuri is the bamboo flute here, and a very simple instrument. It's basically a piece of bamboo with some holes in it, but this instrument allows you certain things that are very hard to do with a Western flute, mainly the ability to bend the notes. So it was with great joy that I spent 2 years in India studying with Hari Prasad, and then at his suggestion, I went to the Rotterdam Conservatorium in Holland, where he was teaching, and I studied with him there for an additional 12 years, and still to this day I try to see him whenever I can. But I'm very grateful for this connection, to be around such an incredible musician. And so after that experience I came back, and I've been teaching people bansuri, many different people bansuri, and it's a wonderful instrument. I will say, it does take some patience. It's a little bit difficult because you have to partially cover the holes, and so it does take some patience. And I also started to meet people who were playing Western flute, and they'd already invested 10, 20, 30 years playing the Western flute, and so they wanted to learn Indian music concepts on the Western flute. Now, you cannot get the same effect on the Western flute as you can with the bamboo flute. However, you can make some fantastic music inspired by this music. And so I thought I'd just demonstrate for a minute playing some Indian ragas on the Western flute. So here's a rendition of Rag Yaman in Rupak Tal of 7 beats. Dina, Dina, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there you have it. That's a rendering of Rag Yaman on the Western flute. Of course, that's a very short rendition, but I just want to let people know that you can render the ragas in a very beautiful way on the Western flute. You cannot get the same effect, but you can make some fantastic, beautiful music. Because really there's two different things going on here. There's the melodic forms known as the ragas, and the ragas, there's certain ascending and descending scales. You can learn the rules of the raga, and there's certainly also rules involved with the tala or the rhythmic structures. And what's fantastic about this music is the fact that it makes you a much stronger musician. The dexterity you get from playing these different rhythms, and the beauty from playing these different ragas and their melodic forms, not to mention that this music really, in my opinion, is an example of the essence of this incredible spiritual culture. So just playing these ragas, you're just in a sea of joy. So I want to let people know that I'm happy to help them on their growth of the music of India for the flute. So some people want to learn bansuri, some people want to learn the Western flute. I'm here to help you any way you want to go. So if you have any interest, please reach out to me. You can reach me at brightworldarts@gmail.com email, or on Skype, JohnFlute1. And what I'm offering is a 30-minute session at no cost. We can just meet on the internet. I can see what you're doing with the flute. I can show you some possibilities. And we can see if this is something that might work. So I'd love to hear from you and help you to go deeper into this incredible form of music, music of India for the flute. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.